Can the two honorable members please remove the hats? Honorable Hengari and Honorable Hengari and Honorable Mongo, kindly please remove your headgears, even if you have to do it outside. Yes. Okay, so having said that, the honorable two members have been asked to remove their headgears. Speaker's announcement. Honorable members, I wish to acknowledge the presence in the gallery of a delegation from the Journals and House Procedures Department of the Parliament of Zimbabwe, who are on a benchmarking visit to the National Assembly of Namibia from the 8th to the 12th of July 2025. The purpose of their visit is to exchange ideas and share experiences in the area of digital and electronic records management, particularly in relation to the filling, storage, and retrieval of documents relating to parliamentary business. On behalf of the House, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a productive and enriching visit. You are most welcome. Yes. Yes. Any messages from the head of state? Honorable members, I'm waiting for you to please comply. Okay. Any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Reports of standing or select committees? Other reports and papers? Yes. Yes.
Speaker, I just have a, if you can please indulge me. I have a very serious question. We women use different things to cover up their heads. Sometimes even the wigs. It can be a wig, it can be a bucket head, it can be a cap. So, Speaker, I wanted to understand really the extent to which that rule applies. Tomorrow we'll be ordered not to come with braids to the house, or we must. Honestly, Speaker, I don't understand.
No, no
the Honorable
problem.
is a senior member of this House.
Yes.
But each time I'm on the floor,
the honorable member.
like she's angry at me.
Don't worry, just go ahead.
What is the beef, really?
We are listening to the
Deputy
speaker.
Minister to make matters worse.
We want to listen to the
So
speaker.
really, I want to understand, Speaker, to what extent does that rule apply? Because tomorrow we'll be asked to remove our wigs here, and it's not fair, really.
Yes. Thank you. I would tell you, honorable member, that that does not extend to wigs. Otherwise, even hair extensions would not be allowed. But we all know that those products are not disallowed. Okay? Notices of questions? Yes, Honorable Rukato.
Good day. I give notes that on Thursday, 25 September 2025, I shall pose questions to the respected Honorable Minister of Mine and Energy, my good brother Natangwe Itete. The three questions are as follows. Number one, and also is a Deputy Prime Minister. The first question, I just only combine it once. I give note that on 25 September, Thursday, 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Mines and Energy my good brother, Honorable Natangwe Itete, as follows. Why are electricity distributors such as Senorant and Noret demanding full cash payment for the installation of transformers instead of offering flexible payment options? For example, a 10% deposit followed by installed plans over 24, 60, or even 72 months. This requirement poses a major challenge to rural communities where the masses of this country live in poverty, where distance from the many supply points are long, and the distance often lack the financial capacity due to these upfront financial constraints. Now, the last is a proposal, recommendation, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister. The Minister of Mines and Energy should consider strategic collaboration with NamWater and the Rural Water and the Energy Supply Directorate. Whenever okay, silence. Whenever NamWater pipelines extended deep into rural areas, electricity poles lines from Senoret or Noret should be developed in parallel. This integrated structure approach would make it easier and more affordable for residents, schools, clinics, and other institutions in a remote area is access electricity and the digital networks. This could significantly contribute to rural development and upliftment. That is number one. Number two, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, I give notes that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the minister, my sister, my relative sister, Minister of Finance, Honorable Erika Chaduka. Okay, silence, let me correct the name. Honorable Erika B. Shafuda, the following questions. We have observed an increasing number of houses and backyard flats being rented out in towns across the country, with landlords charging tenants amounts ranging from 2,500 and 18,000 per month. Tenants dutifully pay these amounts monthly for the accommodation services provided. However, it appears that many of these landlords do not officially declare this rental income for tax purposes, and therefore do not contribute tax revenue to the government of the Republic of Namibia, and also the requirements. In this regard, I would like to respectfully ask the two questions as follows. Could you kindly explain to the nation why many landlords, which backyards, flats, and similar rental arrangements seemingly do not pay tax on this business activity. Is there any legal provision that exempts them from paying tax? Number two, what strategies or mechanism does your ministry, in collaboration with Namibia, plan to implement to ensure that individuals earning forms such as rental services comply with tax laws and they contribute their fair share? And also, how many banks are in operation in Namibia? And amongst all those banks, how many foreign banks and how many banks local originated from Namibia? And then the following question, those banks, can you state how many beneficiaries have so far benefited from the foreign banks and local banks, and the number of beneficiaries? The last question, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, I want to know if some of the banks within Global, they are not found in Namibia or not established in Namibia. Don't you think that your ministry, as a Minister of Finance, can you appeal and request those banks, those who are not found in Namibia, to come and invest in Namibia, so that for the development of this country and its people, it's so important that in this regard, Honorable, I so submit.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member please table the question? I recognize Honorable Mulunga. Oh, it's not allowed to shake somebody's hands, ne? Honorable Mulunga, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As the Shadow Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Honorable Inge Zamwani Kamwi, the following questions. Honorable Minister, according to the Veterinary and Veterinary Professional Act number 1 of 2013, a veterinarian who obtains his or her qualifications from an institution listed by the World Organization for Animal Health across the globe but not accredited by the Namibia Veterinary Council is required to write a Namibia Veterinary Council examination to assess Day 1 competencies for unconditional registration to practice as a veterinarian profession in Namibia. However, the current status quo is that the said examination is administered and marked by UNAM School of Veterinary Medicine as part of an exit final exam for UNAM School of Veterinary Medicine final year students, and it is not a Namibia Veterinary Council examination to assess Day 1 competencies as stipulated in the Act of Parliament number 1 of 2013. I would therefore like to ask the Honorable Minister the following questions. Number 1, why is the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform allowing such illegal practices to continue, which has mainly affected graduates from previously disadvantaged backgrounds? Number 2, why is the ministry continuing with the practice of UNAM's School of Veterinary Medicine offering the examination when it is very, very clear in the Act that such an examination should be offered by the Namibia Veterinary Council? Number 3, there are more than 13 Namibian veterinarian graduates, some of whom have graduated as far as 2020, sitting at home unregistered. What is the ministry's plan in urgently addressing these matters of the veterinary graduates who are unable to meet the new set conditions for registration. At the moment, we also have veterinary graduates who are doing their master's degree in Pretoria, sponsored by the Meat Board. Are we now saying that after they are done with their master's degree, they should rejoin the UNAM's third-year students? Is this really fair? Number 5, and finally, when will the ministry address the concerns and recommendations given to the ministry by the affected students in September 2024? So I submit.
Yes, can the honorable member please table the questions? I now recognize Honorable Brinkman.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Lalani Brinkman, proud shadow, Minister of Health. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Health the following. Honorable Minister, I seek clarification and accountability on several pressing governance and compliance matters regarding the Namibia Institute of Pathology, as raised by the Namibia Public Workers Union and as reported in credible news publications, notably the Namibia newspaper. Question 1. Can the Honorable Minister confirm whether the establishment of the 15 million manufacturing facility at Swakopmund, which focuses on producing laboratory consumables, falls within the statutory mandate of the Namibia Institute of Pathology as defined in Section 5 of the NIP Act? Has the NIP Act been amended to include manufacturing activities? Has NIP obtained all relevant certifications and approvals for such manufacturing, including the Goods Manufacturing Certificate, FDA approval if it's applicable, in-country evaluation, and product compliance certification, just to mention a few. Second question, is the Innovation Hub intended for internal use by NIP, or is it intended for commercial purposes? If it is for business purposes, can the minister provide a detailed business plan and financial projections? Thirdly, why has the executive director of the Ministry of Health been excluded from the NIP board? In terms of Section 19 of the Articles of Association, the ED is to be appointed by the line minister. Has this appointment occurred? If not, what is the reason for this omission? And will the minister remedy this oversight as required by the Act? Lastly, it has come to our attention that the NIP board chairperson is a co-owner of the 2020 Financial Solutions Pty Limited, a private company currently offering financial services to NIP employees for affordable housing. Was this interest disclosed in compliance with Section 234 and 241 of the Companies Act, Section 247 of the NIP Act? Were conflict of interest declarations recorded in board minutes? Can the minister provide access to the relevant board minutes? The above concerns warrant urgent attention to safeguard public confidence, ensure legal compliance, and protect the integrity of NIP's governance framework. I respectfully request comprehensive responses with supporting documentation where applicable. So I submit.
Can the honorable member please table the questions? May the honorable member please table the questions? Thank you. I recognize Honorable Kalangula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise as Shadow Minister of Works and Transport, and I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Works and Transport the following questions. Honorable Minister, Roads Contractor Company, RCC, was formed in 1999 as per RCC Act number 14 of 1999, with a mandate to be a state road construction company, a company born from the Ministry of Works and Transport. It started well, but later riddled with incompetence and mismanagement to the extent that the company got long forgotten by its owner, the state, with no accountability whatsoever, such that its current status is still not known. Now, Honorable Minister, this company still exists, but hardly gets any tenders from the same sole shareholders. Honorable Minister, it is based on this background that I now ask the following questions. Number one, what is RCC's current operational status and financial health? Number two, what is the government's plan to reform, to revive, or shut it down? Number three, why are we allocating 55.9 million annually to a SOE without public accountability, asset clarity, or visible work? Number four, can the Honorable Minister table a report on RCC's assets, staff complements, audited finances, and the executive performance contracts? Number five, why has the RCC been excluded from road tenders in favor of foreign state companies? What does that say about Namibia's trust and confidence in its own engineers? And moreover, what does that say on self-reliance as a country? Number six, will the ministry revisit former RCC community maintenance models of support unto local authorities and empowering Namibian professionals? On that note, I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member please table the questions? I now recognize Honorable Kangulu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, the 11th of September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Defense, Veterinary Affairs, Honorable Franz Kapofi, the following question. Honorable Minister, I rise to ask an urgent clarification on a matter of growing concern within the Namibian Defence Force, the review of pay scale and the rank structures of the sergeant majors in the Namibian Defence Force. In a letter written and signed by the then former Minister of Defense, Honorable Benda Ndakolo, on the 12th of August 2016, to CDF, that is the Chief of Defense Force, Honorable Yandakolo confirmed the discontent among sergeant majors and NDF services at brigade level, at battalion level, and company level of the Namibian Defence Force. He further emphatically reaffirmed on the causes of such discontent, with a clear benchmark of other countries, including South Africa. His intervention has gone to the extent of initiating this matter into the Military Steering Committee, the MSC requested them to convene an urgent meeting and review the pay scales and the rank structures in question and implement thereof. On the 3rd of September 2020, the then CDF instructed the Chief of Staff HR, CSOS, to implement the ministers and subsequently the MSC directive, where on his own writing, the road as, and I quote, "I want this implemented as a matter of priority." Unfortunately, to today and until today, this matter is yet pending implementation. I therefore, Honorable Minister, respectfully ask the following question. Is the Honorable Minister aware or not aware of this concern? Given almost the 10 years, if I should use the ESAW methodology of rounding to the nearest at least 10, because it's 9 and some months, what is the possibilities of negative impact to such lack of implementation or merely maladministration had in the development of our institution? Given the circumstances and situation of such discontent within the rank and file of a most disciplined force, how does such affect the performance of this sergeant major? As far as accountability is concerned, are we likely to see action taken against those individuals who unnecessarily stagnated and deliberately delayed this implementation? When do we expect this matter to be implemented, and will the affected members, the sergeant major, be now entitled to a payback as then 2020, September 2020? I then so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member please? Okay, please go ahead.
I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, the 11th of September 2025, the 11th of September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Kapofi, the following question. Honorable Speaker, and Honorable Minister, I rise to ask Honorable Minister, the Minister that I myself a shadow on, the following question on a matter of a very deeply affecting moral and financial obligation of the skilled personnel within the Namibian Defense Force, particularly at the Air Force and other support departments. It had come to my attention that professional allowance structure within the Namibian Defense Force has been applied inconsistently, unfairly, and unjustifiably. The most affected sector or otherwise area is the Air Force or aircraft technician, where we have about three categories. Some have their allowance completely removed, they are no longer receiving them. Others have them arbitrarily reduced from what they've been entitled to. And a certain small group of personnel remain receiving their full allowance. This inequality has persisted for almost 16 months, Honorable Minister, despite numerous internal attempts to address it. The consequences of this matter have caused members to even sold their houses. They were unable to manage financially, sold their vehicle, and some even withdraw their kids from their private school. Others went in completely credit default obligation. In addition, the special recruitment initiative, what they call special intake, introduced by the ministry to attract skilled and professional electricians, welders, plumbers, IT specialists, HR, and others, have eventually ended up to a no-yield deployment. Those skills recruitment remain idle. Those personnel, they are idle, they are in those bases, but they are not being utilized. While the ministry continues to outsource the services that this particular member, qualified personnel, could be able to have performed. I therefore respectfully ask the Honourable Minister the following question. Is the Minister aware of this disparity in the professional allowance system? If so, what urgent intervention are being undertaken to collect this particular matter? What justifies the reduction or the removal of this allowance for personnel performing the same identical duties? Will affected members be reimbursed for losses of income in that regard for about 16 months? Why does the minister continue to outsource those services while the internal capacity of those professionals can be able to excel? Will the minister commission a comprehensive audit and a review of the NDF HR policy to ensure equitable treatment and uphold the principle of equal pay for equal work? So I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable Member now please table the questions. I recognize Honourable Mvula.
All right. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I actually have an urgent oral question, if you allow me to.
Okay, can I find out first, the next person is the Right Honourable Prime Minister? Is that the question? Okay. Then Honourable Nashinge, is yours a question? Oral question. Oh, okay, then Honourable Mvula can proceed with the oral question. Very good. Okay. Okay. Honourable Mvula can proceed.
All right. I have urgent oral question. Please now. Now one wants to speak English, I guess. Is directed to the Minister of Health, the Honourable Minister of Health. And its background is basically a call to for applications of all registered unemployed Namibian health professionals, which was issued by the Office of the Executive Director in that ministry, and it closed on the 13th of December. That's when this all the applications actually had to be submitted. That's 13 December 2024. The around about 50 of these graduates, or I mean, they graduated from nursing courses. They registered with the Health Professional Council of Namibia, wrote, one would presumably say, an aptitude test in May, and up to now, up to today, it's not very clear why there isn't any response that these applicants actually submitted their applications for, obviously, employment purposes. Now, the problem with that is that these kind of things are very recurrent in our system, our government system, where people spend so much money to reach to places, especially urban areas, to make their submissions. The caretakers or parents or whatever way they can find money to make copies, etc., etc. It is a cost, and we can't deny that. And houses or households do not always have the money to assist graduates in submitting or seeking employment. And these are active employment seeking Namibian young people. So the question to the Honorable Minister is that whether the Honorable Minister is aware that this matter is pending, and whether the Honorable Minister is aware of any response that have been given or issued in this regard to the applicants, because they have not heard much from your office. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Does the Honorable Minister wish to respond?
Good. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the question. Regarding the nurses and the call that was made in December, yes, I am aware of the call. Regarding the feedback to them, as far as I'm aware, feedback has been provided. However, once again, as I always state, we are not on opposite sides, and if in fact it is true that no response has been provided as to the way forward and the employment status and when they can expect to start work, then I would make a formal plea that you please meet me afterwards, and we can definitely find a solution for this. As you mentioned, it is an urgent question because lives are involved and employment is involved, and where bread and butter is involved, it is always urgent. And so please, let's talk and let's find a way forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member, you fine? Okay. I now recognize Honorable Nashinge.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise as Shadow Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security to ask an urgent question to the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Magano. We all know what happened in Okahanja early this year, and I truly just wanted to find out how far the investigations are on the brutal murder of the 3 girls, lovely girls in Okahanja, and when is the high-level committee appointed by the President presenting their report so that to the House, so that the findings and recommendations on their findings and recommendations and progress made in this matter, so that we can at least help the families to find it, however difficult it is, to close this chapter. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. My attention is drawn to the fact that there is a question on that matter on the question paper. So then we can wait for the Minister to prepare an answer, unless if the Minister is saying that this information would be different from what she would provide under the...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that question was posed on 3 occasions with different changes here and there. Remember, it's a question that I wanted to respond to the other time. And then because the mover of the question was not here, it was then considered that I should only come and respond when she's here, and I'm ready to respond.
Very good. So it is on the question papers, and the Minister would respond to the question at that time. Honorable Nashingi. Yeah. No. Today is Thursday. We will come to that. It's here. Yes, and there are no further requests for the floor to ask questions. Now we proceed to notices of motions. Right, Honorable Prime Minister.
Very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members.
Land bill.
Land bill. Oh. Not land bill, but it is coming. Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 3rd of September 2025, I shall move that this Assembly approve the National Policy on Disability 2025 and its Implementation Action Plan for the period 2025-2030. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member table the motion? Can the Right Honorable Prime Minister table the motion?
Should I repeat the Honorable Kato?
Now I recognize Honorable Samupwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I rise to give notice that on Tuesday, the 2nd of September 2025, I shall ask this August House to debate the following and give solution to it. A motion on a financial inclusion model for the rural communities to increase entrepreneurial activities and reduce poverty and geographical inequality. Honorable Speaker, Namibia is one of the countries with the highest number of the banked population. However, this high uptake of banking does not mean that everybody has access to financial services which better their livelihoods. According to a report by the Namibia Statistics Agency and Bank of Namibia in 2017, 78% of the Namibians were banked. This means people with access to mainstream banking. This implies that the remaining percentage of people who do not have access to banking are mainly those from the rural communities. This group often face significant barriers to accessing mainstream financial services. These barriers include limited and irregular income sources, lack of collateral, geographic isolation, and insufficient financial infrastructure. As a result, rural populations are frequently excluded from formal credit, savings, and insurance products, which perpetuates cycles of poverty and limits economic development in rural communities. The challenge with the current financial system is that emphasis is more on a capitalist motive, that is the profit motive. The issue with this model is that it is a collateral-based system and as such would not be motivated to extend their services to all parts of the country, thus leaving the rural communities.
Honorable Member, are you motivating? Yeah, because you will have an opportunity. If all those pages are on the motion, then it means you would use most of that when you are motivating. Today you only need to give notice.
Therefore, Honorable Speaker, thank you for correcting me. I propose that this motion be referred to the relevant.
Just give notice.
But I thought the Speaker said first listen, then she will rule.
Yes. What yes, honorable members. Wait. Let me guide the honorable member. So, honorable member, you will give a notice to motivate that motion with just a little bit of information. But I can see that you seem to have a full motivation. That full motivation you will give when we call out that item next time when we meet to say that you should motivate now the motion.
Okay.
but you can indicate whether you would like it to go to a committee after discussion. And then you motivate it, and then we will agree whether we refer to a committee or not.
Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Okay, thank you very much. Can the honorable member now table the motion? Very good. Thank you. Now I recognize Honorable Damwani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I give notice that on the 3rd of September 2025, I shall move that leave be given to introduce the long-awaited Consolidated Comprehensive Land Bill. Thank you, honorable members. This bill, amongst many others, provide for the establishment of communal land boards and provide for their powers and functions, provide for the establishment of a communal land board, land development fund, for the demarcation and extent of communal land area, the allocation of communal land rights. It also provides for the powers and functions of chiefs, traditional authorities, and land committees in the allocation of land rights. It also provides for the continuation of the Land Reform Advisory Commission, the continuation of the Land Acquisition and Development Fund, the acquisition of commercial agricultural land by the state for the purposes of land reform and other land reform related purposes. The bill will also vest in a state the preferential right to passage commercial land and to provide for compulsory acquisition and alienation of agricultural commercial land by the state. The bill will also provide for the prohibition of acquisition of commercial agricultural land by foreign nationals.
Minister, please finish.
Honorable Speaker, this bill is informed, amongst others, by the resolution of the Second National Land Conference.
Table the motion. Very good. I hope that thank you, honorable members. I hope that the discussions on the bill would reflect the same you know, collective view, harmonious views that we are expressing through the applause. Now I invite ministerial statements. Yes, right, Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Comrade Speaker. On a lighter note, for 2 days in a row, this August House has demonstrated unity on both sides of the aisle.
Very good, very good.
The first time was with our visiting Prime Minister of India. I saw when he mentioned that India stood there during the liberation struggle, and the other side also said yes. And then, Honorable Speaker, on the lighter note, it also goes to show that if we were to ask in this House that the land bill not be debated, I think the answer would be yes, because everybody approved already in advance. Honorable Speaker, I said on the lighter note, it's almost Friday. It's Amber Friday. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to provide an update and officially announce the end of the 2024-2025 nationwide drought relief program in all 14 regions of our country. Honorable members, as you may be aware, Namibia continues to experience an alarming increase in the frequency, intensity of climate-induced disasters, and especially the 2023-2024 drought was the most and severe in recent history of our country. The El Nino phenomenon, an extremely below normal rainfall recorded during that financial year, agricultural season, has resulted in a widespread crop failure, depleted rangelands, and acute water shortage across all 14 regions. These adverse conditions have significantly affected livelihoods of many Namibians and compromised the food security of over 300,000 households, equivalent to 1.4 million people. As you may recall, in response to this crisis, the former President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, declared a state of emergency on 22nd of May 2024 in accordance with the relevant legislative framework. Subsequently, Cabinet approved the nationwide drought relief program to be implemented from 1st of July 2024 to 30th of June 2025 at an estimated cost of 1.3 Namibian dollars. The nationwide drought relief program comprised of the following interventions, Honorable Speaker: food assistance to vulnerable households, livestock support program, seed and horticulture provision, and water provision. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it is now my distinct honor to provide an update to this August House and the Namibian nation on the implementation of the drought relief interventions. At the onset, I wish to acknowledge that the drought relief program implementation faced several challenges, some of which resulted in delays and backlog of food distribution in the regions. However, despite these challenges, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all stakeholders, particularly the regional councils, offices, ministries and agencies, and development partners for their continued efforts and commitment throughout the implementation process. As the program comes to a closure, we took cognizance of the delay and backlogs encountered and have therefore devised a plan for the regional councils to complete the food distribution by the 31st of August 2025. Update on food assistance. Honorable Speaker, honorable members. The food assistance was provided, as I have indicated, to over 300,000 households, equivalent to 1.4 million people across all 14 regions, as detailed in an annexure which is available for distribution. This number includes 28,000 households from 30 urban areas and close to 2,000 households with malnutrition cases. The monthly food basket consisted of the following: one times 20 kilogram bag of unsifted maize meal or mahangu per household, 4 times 400 gram tins of fish with an option to substitute with 1 times pack of 750 soya beans, 1 times pack of 2 kilogram beans, or 1 pack of 1.5 kilogram meat per household, and 1 times 750 milliliter bottle of cooking oil per household. In terms of provision of game meat, Honorable Speaker, a total of 86 elephants were allocated by the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism to complement the drought relief program. Out of 86, 71 elephants were sustainably culled in Kabango West, Kabango East, Zambezi, Ohangwena, Oshana, Oshkoto, Erongo, and Ochodonjupa regions. The culling yielded approximately 142,000 kilograms of meat, which was distributed in 1.5 kilogram packs per household to drought-affected communities. In addition, honorable members, in addition to the elephant meat, various wildlife species, blue wildebeest, eland, plants, plains zebra, impala, buffalo, and hippo, were also sustainably culled in Mangeti National Park, Mahango National Park, Kwando, and Buffalo Babwata National Parks, yielding a total of over 150 kilograms of meat, which was similarly distributed as indicated above. Restricted, however, to Kabango East, Kabango West, and Zambezi regions due to veterinary protocols. In terms of provision of fresh frozen beef meat by MITCO, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in an effort to diversify the drought relief food basket and also to provide market for drought-affected farmers to destock, the government procured fresh frozen beef through MITCO Northern Communal Area. The fresh frozen meat was distributed on a monthly basis to drought-affected households in Kabango West, Kabango East, Zambezi, Komas, Hardap, and Karas regions, providing an essential source of protein complementing other food items. In terms of commodity and beneficiary management information system voucher model, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the Office of the Prime Minister has made efforts to digitize the drought relief food distribution through the in-house development or developed system, that is the system I have read earlier. This transformative initiative is designed to automate the registration of beneficiaries and distribution of food through voucher cards at contracted SMEs in the regions. The system enables real-time data collection of beneficiaries, improved accountability, and greater efficiency and timely delivery of relief assistance to the affected communities. To date, the system has been successfully rolled out in the following regions: Oshana, Komas, Omaheke, Karas, Hardap, Kavango West, Kavango East, Kunene, and Oshkoto region. And again, a total of over 140 households have redeemed their food items, and close to 500 contracted retailers from April to June 2025, and in-kind distribution continued in the regions where the initiative has not yet been rolled out. Honorable Speaker, in terms of livestock support program, the livestock support program was implemented from the 1st of October 2023 to the 31st of March 2025, with an allocation of 100 million. Another 25 million was spent on subsidizing fodder and leeks through Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery, Water and Land Reform, agricultural development centers across the country. The livestock support comprised of subsidies paid to farmers on the following: 1, livestock market incentives, subsidy of lease of grazing, subsidy on transportation to and from grazing areas, and subsidy of purchase of fodders and leeks. As of 30th of June 2025, a total of close to 29,000 claims valued at let's say close to 130 million have been received. Of this, the OPM has settled close to 30,000 claims, amounting to 122 million and above. And again, the annexure is available for distribution. On the seed and horticulture provision, the seed and horticulture provision took place from the 1st of August 2024 to 31st March 2025, with an allocation of 50 million, and 25 million for fodder subsidy and 25 million for seeds and horticulture. The fodder, leeks, seeds were procured through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform and distributed to farmers across the country via regional agriculture extension services. In terms of water provision, honorable members, a total of 100 million was allocated for water provision projects under the nationwide drought relief program. To date, 99.7 million has been spent on key projects, including the Onamatanga water pipeline, which is 99% at completion stage, and the drilling, rehabilitation, and installation of 42 boreholes in the following regions: Erongo 3, Hardap 1, Kavango West 6, Komas 4, Kunene 7, Ohangwena 6, Omaheke 6, Omsati 3, Oshkoto 4, Zambezi 2. Other ongoing water provision projects include Ohamaremba, Okangwati water pipeline. It's a historic one, and it is at 99% completion. Odondati Omashete water supply pipeline phase 1 complete, while phase 2 is at 89% complete. Omtele Ondangwa pipeline currently in its initial stage following recent approval. In terms of donations towards the drought relief program, following the declaration of the state of emergency, as has been indicated at the beginning, various donations, both in kind and monetary, were received in support of the drought relief program. To date, 1.2 million cash and food items valued at close to 800,000 has been received from local companies and individuals. Additionally, international donors have contributed approximately over 160 million worth of food items, namely the State of Qatar, the People's Republic of China, and the Republic of India. Furthermore, the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria and the Republic of Malaysia contributed cash donations of close to 18 million. and 710,000 respectively, as outlined again in an annexure that is available for distribution. Additional donations valued at 26 million were received and implemented through various implementing entities such as the World Food Programme and the Namibia Red Cross. And the Nationwide Drought Relief Program financial breakdown, I think that information we can give it, but the total cost outlay for the implementation of the Nationwide Drought Relief was 1.363 billion. Remember, what was allocated was 1.4. So effectively, 1.363. So almost close to 100% implementation. So, omake to the government. I see my good sister Ina Hengari is very happy with these figures. So you can clap, it's okay. For the current financial year, 2025-2026, costs incurred to date amount to 495.5 million. Again, the actual date, the data and so forth can be distributed, and it will be distributed. In the way, of course, as I indicated, some challenges encountered in the implementation of the program. Some of the key challenges experienced during the implementation include, in terms of challenges, the lack of transport, shortages of warehousing facilities, unavailability of maize meal in the country, sometimes human resources constraint, theft of drought relief food commodities. In terms of mitigating measures, where there is lack or was lack of transport, private trucks were hired to complement government fleets, and where there was shortage of private warehouse were hired to complement regional strategic warehouses, and where the human resources was constrained, temporary senior officers were hired to complement regional staff complements. And in respect of the theft of drought relief food, stringent measures were instituted and all cases reported to the Namibian police. Just for emphasis, a total of 6 cases are currently under investigation, that is now theft, by the Namibian police is investigating, and these cases are from Oshkoto, Ochodonjupa, Ohangwena, Kavango West, and Zambezi regions. The latest being Ochodonjupa, and we can report that the police have apprehended these who took things that didn't belong to them. Yeah. In terms of the way forward, in view of the above normal rainfall received across the country, it is evident that this year's harvest was favorable and able to sustain households to the next harvesting season. The grazing conditions have also significantly improved and able to sustain the livestock to the next harvesting season. Given these positive prospects, the Office of the Prime Minister will advocate for continued mainstreaming of disaster risk reduction initiatives at all levels, and will embark on various targeted resilience building programs in collaboration with all line ministries and development partners to enhance food production through drilling of boreholes, excavation of earth dams, and livelihood diversification. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in closing, yesterday in the discussion between the two heads of state, Her Excellency the President indicated some of these things that we are doing as Namibia in respect of provision of water to rural communities. And interestingly, the visiting Prime Minister of India said to Her Excellency the success story that he could share with Namibia in India is to say, in India what they have and are doing is exactly what Namibia is doing, and that is prioritizing water at household level and ensure that every household has access to water. And therefore, Honourable Speaker, honourable members, what we have said in the last paragraph here is what we have begun to do in Oshombinde. And from Oshombinde, we'll do it in Berseba. After Berseba, we'll do it in Malengalenga and everywhere. So, Honourable Speaker, I so submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. Now, I see that there are two honourable ministers that are on the list. I assume they also want to make ministerial statements. They are the Minister of Education and the Minister of International Relations and Trade. I was going to ask a question. So I was going to ask for your, how do I say, to tap your mind, to try and get you to advise. Because I'm now thinking, is it not better that we allow the two ministers to make the ministerial statements, we go for tea break, and then we come back to discuss from the statement of the Right Honourable Prime Minister? Because if we start to discuss the one of the Honourable Prime Minister now, half the House would talk about it, and then we will not have any other issue today except the ministerial statements. So let's have the ministerial statements. Okay, so I recognize Honourable Steenkamp.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, esteemed honourable members. I rise to address this august House on a matter of profound importance to the future of our nation, and that is the challenge of learning poverty and our ministry's steadfast commitment to overcome it. I'm also delighted to announce the official launch of the End Learning Poverty for All in Africa campaign in Namibia that is scheduled to take place from the 29th to the 31st of July in Ocho Kunene region. But I would love to see all of us present. I see that there's already a concern as to what is learning poverty. I'll put it into context right now. But this national launch represents a pivotal moment, Honourable Speaker, reaffirming Namibia's dedication to inclusive quality education that is in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goal 4. What is the current status of learning poverty in Namibia? Honourable Speaker, honourable members, like many other African countries, our nation faces a foundational literacy and numeracy crisis. Namibia commits to confronting this reality, where currently, in a very shocking state, 7 out of 10 children cannot read a simple text or complete basic mathematical tasks. This widespread issue has profound implications, restricting our ability to engage in knowledge-driven industries and impacting economic growth and social stability. Namibia's learning poverty challenges stem from systemic deficiencies across multiple areas, which also limit us and the country's ability to truly develop skilled professionals. The recent assessment, we wanted to know what is the context and what is the extent of this. And so what we've done as a ministry is we've conducted in 2024 a national end of phase grade 3 literacy and numeracy assessment. And the following sobering statistics is what I want to share with you. In numeracy, only 32% of learners achieved the minimum pass rate of 40%, with a mere 5% scoring 75% or higher. Disturbingly, 82% of the sampled learners did not achieve expected counting competence. 62 struggled with comparing numbers, and 70% found it difficult to demonstrate understanding of place value up to 999. And when we talk about investing at the right level, and when we talk about ECDs and the importance of pre-primary, this is the reason. For literacy, the situation is equally critical, with only 28% of learners meeting the minimum pass rate of 40, and a mere 3% scored 75 or higher. What the parents and us need to take note of is A prevalent difficulty identified was distinguishing between the letters B and D. And while we acknowledge pockets of excellence, such as in Oshana, Irongo, and Khomas regions, where over 20% of learners demonstrated higher order thinking skills in reading and strong written expression, the national picture demands our collective and urgent intervention. That is why I brought it here today. We need to put heads together. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, our ministry in the meantime is not standing by idly. We have systematically implemented comprehensive interventions to address these foundational learning challenges, aligning our strategies with the African Union's broader objectives. One of the cornerstone strategies is the Jolly Phonics and Jolly Grammar program. It's a multi-phase national initiative that began successfully with a pilot program in 2017 in Oshana region. And that is why Oshana region is now one of the regions of excellence working towards addressing learning poverty. Its overarching aim is really to embed essential foundational English literacy skills in junior primary phase, facilitating future academic achievement. We rolled it out in 2022 to grade 1 learners, the Jolly Phonics program, across all government schools, benefiting approximately 1,023 schools, 2,665 teachers, and over 90,000 pupils. This phase focused on foundational phonics skills like the letter sounds, the blending, and segmenting. This was followed by Jolly Grammar, grade 1 in 2024, Grammar 1, targeting 2,742 grade 2 teachers to ensure continuity and introduce grammar concepts. Crucially, 651 heads of departments were trained to monitor and mentor teachers using the Jolly Monitor app. The Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture by then allocated 1.7 million for training and 1.8 million for materials in this phase. Most recently, in 2025, Jolly Grammar 2 is being implemented, focusing on 2,678 grade 3 teachers and 225 head of departments to ensure smooth progression and strengthen sustainability through continued head of department capacity building. For this phase, the ministry committed over 1.9 million for training and over 2.1 million for materials. Namibia is noted as a leader in Africa for its national progression from Jolly Phonics to Jolly Grammar, and we will continue to invest. Beyond literacy, Namibia is also committed to developing multilingual, decodable readers to support the early literacy acquisition in our indigenous languages, fostering inclusivity within our diverse linguistic landscape. We are in the process of developing phonics-based literacy frameworks tailored for Namibia's 11 languages. Our foundational learning strategy emphasizes inclusivity and equitable access, and our commitment to early childhood development and the formalization of the early childhood development and integration into the Ministry of Education is also being attended to. Esteemed Speaker, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture continues to accelerate its commitment to foundational learning with a renewed focus on early grade numeracy that was developed this year. The 2025 Giza Numeracy Roadmap represents a strategic and operational plan to enhance mathematics instruction from pre-primary through grade 3, directly addressing the findings of the just mentioned 2024 grade 3 national assessment, which revealed the wide gaps in basic numeracy proficiency. I can continue, but in the interest of time, we wish to state that the Ministry is also developing a targeting intervention for foundational literacy and numeracy for learners with visual and hearing impairment. The situation is equally dire. For the learners with visual and hearing impairment. And this training targets all junior primary teachers as well as grade 4 teachers. The training will be practical and in classrooms to improve the quality of this method. We also strengthen the capacity of the regional senior education officers for them to be able to provide support and oversight for the schools, while we work with the development partners and the National Namibia Association of the Deaf to develop applications that will bridge the gap of communication at the foundational level. Honourable Speaker, honourable members of Parliament, your unwavering support for legislative frameworks and budgetary allocations has proven to be paramount to ensure our foundational learning reforms are sustained and strengthened. We invite everyone, all roads must go to Ochu, where feasible, for the end of learning campaign, end of poverty learning. For our parents and guardians, your moral obligation and voluntary contributions towards the upkeep, maintenance, and improvements of schools are deeply appreciated. We encourage continuous communication with schools, and we also wish all our parents to ensure that literacy and numeracy are receiving due attention at home. Children start reading at home, and it's cemented within our schools. Thank you for walking this path with our ministry. We look forward to bringing further solutions to this House. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. I now recognize Honourable Ashipara Musavi. Okay. Then I see that the Minister of Gender also would like to make a ministerial statement. Do you?
Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member, okay.
I will be very brief.
Yes, what I was saying, Honourable Hengari, before she comes in, is to say, since today is our last day before we go into break, it is important for us to receive these statements which provide information. Then when we come from tea break, we prioritize the follow-up questions that you have. They are clarified, and then we go and think through the statements, and when we come back, we can ask further questions. Otherwise, we will only have 2 statements, and then that's, yes, Honourable Musavi.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and I shall be very brief. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, as the Minister of International Relations, it behooves on me to thank you, Honourable Speaker, our Deputy Speaker, and all of you, honourable members, for the warm welcome and respect that we accorded yesterday to the Right Honourable Prime Minister of India. I think I should also thank our High Commissioner in New Delhi, High Commissioner Sinimbo, for having played a great deal in facilitating this visit. It is my hope that the statement of the Right Honourable Prime Minister yesterday, as well as the spirit of that statement, will continue to resonate with all of us, as well as the public in our 2 countries. The visit was a great success, and at the appropriate time, Honourable Speaker, I will come with a ministerial statement giving an update on all the inbound and outbound visits that Her Excellency the President have undertaken or hosted thus far. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. And now the last statement is one by the Honourable Minister, Dr. Emma Kantima Gaumas.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, honourable members. I take the floor to apprise honourable members of an initiative that the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare has embarked upon to launch a child-friendly material based on the Child Care and Protection Act of 2015. Honourable members, in 2019, the Child Care and Protection Act, Act number 3 of 2015, came into full operation. This comprehensive legislation stands as a cornerstone for the protection of children in Namibia. Its primary objective is to give effect to the rights of the children as it is enshrined in Article 15 of our supreme law, the Constitution that is, as well as also other key instruments, international instruments that we have ratified, for example, and including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, as well as the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. In fulfilling this mandate, the Ministry has embarked upon an initiative to ensure that the provisions of these legal instruments are made accessible and comprehensible to the children who are the beneficiaries of this Act. Towards this end, the Ministry then, in June 2025, when we celebrated the Day of an African Child, we launched this child-friendly version. This endeavor concentrated on critical areas. We've taken 3 out of this Act. That is the harmful practices, HIV testing, medical consent, and also the child marriage. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this initiative marks a significant stride towards empowering our children with a clear understanding of their rights and the mechanisms available to safeguard them. It also reflects the government's unwavering commitment to fostering an enabling environment in which every Namibian child can flourish, free from harm and with unfettered access to essential services. The aforementioned Act is indispensable to our efforts to secure the well-being of the Namibian child. However, the impact of any law, as we all know, and you will agree with me, depends fundamentally on its accessibility and the extent to which its intended beneficiaries comprehend its provisions. The development and dissemination of these child-friendly materials across multiple platforms aim to bridge this divide, ensuring that children, parents, caregivers, and communities alike are fully informed of the Act's stipulations. The materials developed encompasses social media graphics, posters, pamphlets, booklets offering more detailed information, videos, as well as radio dramas. Honorable members, allow me to briefly elucidate the content of these materials for the 3 areas that I've mentioned. The harmful practices. These materials addresses deeply entrenched harmful practices that continue to imperil the physical and psychological well-being of our children. Often rooted in traditional beliefs, these practices manifest in various forms, including child labor, harmful initiation rites, bullying, certain religious practices, and the use of alcohol, substance, and drugs. The child-friendly materials clearly defines what constitutes harmful practices, enabling children to identify as well as to report such instances, thereby empowering them to seek assistance. By demystifying the law and presenting it in an accessible format, we will equip the children with the language and understanding to articulate their experiences and to demand the protection they rightfully deserve. The other area that I mentioned, the child marriage. Child marriage remains a grave infringement on a child's fundamental human rights, stealing their childhood, education, and future prospects. The Child Care and Protection Act unequivocally sets the minimum age of marriage at 18 years. The child-friendly materials play a crucial role in disseminating this essential information directly to the children as well as the communities. They elucidate the detrimental consequences of child marriage on a child's health, the child's education, and the overall development, while empowering children to understand their rights to choose their own futures free from coercion. Moreover, these materials educate parents and community leaders about the legal sanctions for facilitating child marriages and urge them to prioritize their education and well-being of their daughters. The Ministry intends to conduct target outreach using these materials in communities where child marriages persist, collaborating closely with the traditional authority and community-based organization. The last aspect is the HIV testing and medical consent. The Child Care and Protection Act introduces progressive provisions concerning HIV testing and medical consent for minors, recognizing the evolving capacity of children. The child-friendly material clearly explains that children aged 14 and above may consent to HIV testing independently, provided they possess sufficient maturity to comprehend their implications. For younger children, the Act permits consent if a qualified professional judges them mature enough to understand the benefits, risks, and social consequences of testing, accompanied by appropriate pre- and post-test counseling. These provisions empower adolescents to take charge of their health and access vital services without fear or undue obstacles. The materials also clarify when parental or guardian consent is required for other medical interventions, and importantly, when a child's parent's refusal can be overridden in the child's best interest. This balanced approach, now clearly articulated in the child-friendly versions, ensure that children's health needs are met while they are evolving autonomy. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, these child-friendly materials is our ongoing commitment to child protection, and the Ministry intends to intensify efforts to maximize reach and impact through initiatives such as continuous dissemination, capacity building, especially by training for frontline workers, teachers, traditional leaders, and community volunteers on the effective use of these materials, and ongoing with children and communities regarding these sensitive issues. Monitoring and evaluation will also ensure that we have a robust mechanism to assess the effectiveness of these materials. Honorable members, by empowering our children with knowledge and ensuring their understanding of their rights under the Child Care and Protection Act, we are laying a foundation for a stronger, safer, and more just Namibia for all. The Ministry calls upon everyone here to join in this vital endeavor, championing the widespread utilization and impact of these materials across all constituencies. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now the House will rise for a few minutes until 16 hours 30. Then we'll be back here to ask questions. Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you very much. Speaker, I stand on point of privilege. As much as we receive mouthful and important ministerial statements from our ministers, including the prime ministers, we can't just go for recess without asking these questions. By the time we come back, we'll forget all of them.
No, we are going for a 15 minutes break. We come back at 16 hours 30. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, okay.
Thanks.
The House rises.
Before that, Speaker, I wanted to, in the spirit of consensus building, since we are doing things, unconventional things this afternoon, I wanted to find out if, as members, we can contribute to each of the statements in one go.
I think we can do so, maybe to make things easier. Yeah.
Right.
So the honourable members should please just take notes on the questions related to their subject.
Okay. Well, first, Speaker, I will be the first person to thank the Prime Minister and the government of the Republic of Namibia. Not the government, listen, relax. Not the government of the Republic of Swapo. Yes, I told you to wait on running a very successful drought relief program. I think anyone would realize that as government started this program, of course, the intention was to support households, support families who had experienced the brunt of drought, and unfortunately the impact that the drought had on the harvest and so forth. So I think really that was the first observation, and I think anybody would admit that at first we thought that this initiative was good to help those households, but later I think we all realized and we agree that we actually discovered that a large portion of our country, a very large portion of our country found this drought relief program as a necessity. And I think, Honorable Prime Minister, we need to find ways to identify those vulnerable communities or households where we know there's not an employed person or individual that can support the rest of the household, and continue this program, whether minimally in its little, elements or little pieces, but also identifying those communities that could really continue to benefit from this program. On the second point, I wanted to say that I hope that government, and as a country we have learned from the challenges that we experienced during this particular program, and I'm particularly referring to the theft of some of the supplies. I had the opportunity last year to visit the Kavango West and Kavango East regions, including Zambezi, with the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs, because we're doing an impact assessment of government projects, social projects on these communities. And what we really found was that many a times these food supplies would be stuck in storage, and there was a lack of coordination. Regardless of the theft, the theft was there, and there was evidence that people were taking from those supplies and selling them, very often even selling them. But also the other thing that really came up was some of the communities, like the San communities, what we would realize is that and I guess it's an unfortunate thing, and perhaps part of the social engineering that we always talk about. Those members of the vulnerable communities or marginalized communities, what would really happen is that because there's an over-reliance on drugs and alcohol, as soon as they received these food products that were so necessary, of course, to make ends meet and for survival, they would use those very products and sell them for a bottle of beer. And I think the state has an obligation, right? The state has an obligation to protect, somebody said the state has an obligation to protect us from ourselves, and I agree to some extent. And I think and I hope that we can take some of those lessons and really implement them and try to use as we carry on this project, whether in its minimal form, but also in those priority areas where we've identified communities, vulnerable communities that rely heavily on this, or relied heavily on this drought relief program. I can also say confidently that in my village, there are a number of young people who are unemployed, but who are also beneficiaries of this very program. Not because they would harvest or they had gardens, backyard gardens or anything like that, but because it was an available program or a project that was available to them to support their livelihoods and also to support their young families. So I really think it's important that we identify those vulnerable communities. Yes, I wanted to find out, Honorable Prime Minister, whether there will be a continuation, whether it's in minimal form of this project, or are we completely done and we're saying no, poverty is done. I know, for example, Maheke, where it's a region that is prone to malnutrition. Can we identify those regions and say, because this region is prone to malnutrition, we have identified it as a priority area where we can still continue to implement this very important program. I want to also find out, recently there was a notice by Water cautioning the residents and citizens generally in Namibia about the usage of water. Now, right, Honorable Prime Minister, I'm a little bit skeptical because the Prime Minister says, no, we have received good rainfall, but Water says we must caution citizens against whether it's wasteful spending of water or whatever, but it means then that there will be, at some extent, or to some extent, there still will be a need for that support, and that's why I'm saying we need to really continue. I think I'm done with the Prime Minister, and I think in the spirit of consensus building, I have sang enough praises for you, Honorable Prime Minister. I want to further move to the, yes, I think that's what we agreed on, right, Honorable Prime Minister?
Yes,
Speaker.
yes.
Okay. The Minister of Education. Now, one of the things that a lot of people probably don't know about me is that my mother was an ECD teacher. My late mother. She was an ECD teacher, so one of the privileges I've had is that I did not need to travel to an urban area to receive foundational education. So one of the things that we hardly talk about, even when we talk about the results of grade 12 or grade 11 or grade 9, all these levels that you have introduced that we are still familiarizing ourselves with, is that when we talk about these results, we often place a lot of effort on the outcome of those results and not what we put into the input. So I want to commend you, Honorable Minister, for finally, I don't know whether it's been happening, but we've not seen it happening. But I always say that foundational education is very important. I was so privileged to have a mother who taught as an ECD teacher. And because of that privilege, I never had to go to a kindergarten. And in fact, if anything, I never had to travel to an urban area because I was based in a rural area to receive that foundational education. So I hope, Honorable Minister, and my only advice here is that we must try and find a way to have and empower rural teachers or those individuals that portray or hold some sort of qualification but are based in the rural areas because of unemployment, because of lack of access to opportunities and so forth. Because once you're able to empower those people, then you're able to empower an entire community. And truly, I think I am a testimony of that. Yes, the other point that I wanted to talk on was on the visual and hearing impairment. And I'm truly grateful that this is something that is coming up. There are so many young people. I have a sibling myself who has a hearing impairment, but most of the time what you realize is that families don't actually pick up on the impairment until a much later stage. So I think if we're able to have mechanisms that can help in identifying those learners that need the support, whether it's with the visual impairment or with the hearing impairment, I think it will really go a long way. Because I mean, imagine having a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old in a classroom who has a hearing impairment, but the parents do not know about it, and the teacher has no way of actually realizing that I think this child actually needs support in this aspect. So I think I want to commend you for that, but also really encourage you to introduce and implement measures that could help both the educator and families to identify those impairments so that we can offer them the necessary support. I think I'm done there. I'll now move to the Minister of IR. I think international relations, this is really on a lighter note. Something yesterday happened in this House, very interestingly, and I'm saying this in the spirit of consensus building. There was a point that we lost translation, or maybe the translation never existed, Honorable Speaker. I think we need guidance there and clarity. But there was a point as the Right Honorable Prime Minister of India was speaking, there was a point we realized that he was speaking in Hindu, and none of us actually understood. But what I truly respect about the members of this House is all of us kept on saying, as though we understood something. But I know that there was no understanding here. But truly, I want to thank you. There's something, Honorable Speaker, if you just allow. There's something that has happened today at the Hosea Kutako International Airport. I know it's not part of her statement. Unfortunately, it's just come in. The visa on arrival process was delayed for about 2 hours. I'm only asking that probably if you have time to really find out, ask the Minister of Trade. Home Affairs, yes. If she can find out about that, Honorable Speaker, I think I'm done there. The Minister of Gender. I think in the African context, at some point, we need to start having honest conversations about harmful cultural practices. In America, it's easy to define child marriage. But I wonder whether that definition applies in Namibia. And whether we have not created almost an illusion or have acquired this Americanized definition of child marriage and are trying to apply it to the Namibian context. And I think you know what I'm talking about. One of the things that I really want to appreciate from you is that I think this is a very progressive step to take. It's in the right direction. I remember we had a program growing up, it was called Window of Hope. And through that program, we were taught a number of things, how not to talk to a stranger, when to cross the road, and so forth. But I think now we have advanced because of social media access. Our children have access to TikTok. Our children have, I'm almost done. You don't like seeing me on TV or what? Anyways, our children have access to internet that can be really harmful, and sometimes the lessons that they learn are not specifically framed to their years or to their age group. So I think this is a very progressive project, and I hope that we are able to introduce it in schools. I know there are subjects like life skills and so forth. If we could have even copies of these materials and stuff like that distributed at that level, I think it will go a very long way. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Members. I know that we are doing things differently. That's why I'm also being lenient. According to the rules, members have up to 3 minutes. And now when you have 4 statements, if you try to multiply 3 times 4, it becomes too much time. So I want to implore the members to also try and just be succinct and to the point so that we can get everybody to pose their question. Yeah? Now, the next honorable member is Honorable. 5 minutes for all the statements, ne? Okay, very good. Please, let's agree.
No, the drought relief, it ends. But what are we doing then from there? This is a once-off term, how we deal with planting and harvesting. It's once-off. And the hunger is not something of once-off. It's every day. It's something that happens every day. So I think we must try to find a way of, like now, people are all done harvesting. They are only having mahangus and other things. And that mahangu need to be eaten with something. It either be tomatoes, onions, spinach, all of that. So we must find a way to at least give more water to our people, then they can start making their gardens to at least have tomatoes around their houses. Second, it's on the seeds. During our budget debate, I given some idea of how do we preserve our seeds? Because this is a serious problem. I'm a farmer. In Zambia, they have seed 1, 2, and 3. And us here, once like now we are done, we are just done. If we are to be found in a position where we did not receive a good rain, we are going to eat up that seeds. And we are going to receive the seeds from India. So we must not eat up ombudo. So it's very, very important. I'm recommending Honorable Prime Minister to, in line with the Ministry of Agriculture, to at least set up a committee to go and collect those seeds from our people, because we really harvested well this year. So they must go collect those seeds, and it must be set somewhere for preservation. And also, we must also touch on the issue of AMTA. Now our people, they have Mahangu there, and they have AMTA, who is robbing them. Their prices, it's very, very unacceptable. I'm one of those, and I said I can't sell my Mahangu to AMTA. So something must be done with these prices. You will know why, because you are not a farmer. You eat rice. Yeah. Secondly, it's on how then we now deal with that outstanding, either already procured money that's supposed to go bring drought relief, and the stock which is already delivered somewhere. How are we going to? Are we going to send it back, or are we going to hand it to the masses? So we must also look at that. As I conclude, we must come on the gender, Ministry of Gender. I think you are really trying to keep our child safe, our kids safe, and my plea is that we are here because of people, and those kids that we need to protect, it's ours, and they need our support. So what if I can recall correctly, you did mention that you have some flyers and other things, that kind of promotional materials. So what if now we are going on the recess? What if you give some to all MPs? Just to go wherever you find yourself, either you meet a headman or someone who deals with the community. Okay, these are the products you can share with your community so that we can move together. There are times where we need to fight political, but there are times that we need to fight together. So it's very important, all of us, to take that duty as leaders, that no, we must help the ministry to deliver those things. We are all members of communities, not just MPs. And you don't know my headman, I don't know your headman. So it's important if we take that one, then we give it. So I say
very good. Thank you, Honorable. I recognize Honorable Motu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My question is brief to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and I think my Honorable Diplomat Kobiao Hengari emphasized on diplomat. Am I protected, Speaker?
Yes, you are protected.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. I just want to, I know you spoke about harvesting, but I really want to look at the economical conditioning on that. What economic modeling was used to determine the conditions to no longer justify continued state intervention? Can we have the figures through drought relief? And again, what she stated, was this modeling then accorded to regional disparities? What are the figures that justified your concluding to the program? That's it, short and sweet.
Very good. Honorable Kambala.
Speaker, we said 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is just on it's 2 issues. On the Prime Minister, I think the rest have said the good words. Well done. But my concern basically is on the vouchers that have been used to put vouchers during the drought relief. So there are concerns of manipulation in terms of where beneficiaries could go to. For some instances, I could go to iPhone groceries. But then iPhone groceries is the only authorized grocer in the community. And in that community, iPhone grocer has the overpriced those items that I'm allowed to get. So instead of me getting 10 items with my voucher, I only end up getting 3 because of the items that are highly overpriced. And I appreciate in your statement that you mentioned that there's a new system that is built in-house. And my wish is that it will then detect those overpricing, because it's a concern that somebody is benefiting and profiting highly over somebody else's poverty, which is not human and it's not proper and ethical. So I hope I hope that will stop. And also the voucher system, how sure, if you could also just emphasize in terms of how many people benefited from the voucher system, how many beneficiaries did the voucher system benefit, and also, the items as well. The other is the warehousing, because you said that in some instances logistical issues were warehousing, lack of warehousing, but then also the issues also that food also stay too long in the warehouse. But then now, what happens then moving next year? Because now what already, like Honorable Muto said, is we should already be worried on what the issue. So now what happens next year then? Do we then wait for next year again, January, to declare another drought relief? What are we, if I hit again, what are we doing in the interim to make sure that we take care of the most vulnerable when the time comes for everything next year? And also for emergencies. Do you also have any room for emergencies? Like we know in the East Kabango West regions, and also sometimes in Namibia, we have communities that might, families that might perish because of eating the poisonous food. What do we do then in those communities as a government? Do we have, just asking them, do we also have emergencies for such instances? The other is to the issue of gender. We believe in cultural practices. We need to safeguard our cultural practices. And sometimes when we read books, we are told what we as Africans are doing is inhumane, and all those things, anti. So what are we doing to ensure that, for instance, circumcision, my fellow Arab community, does a circumcision, and the world sees it as inhumane, but it's a part to manhood. How are we making sure that practices are seen as cultural practices, that are seen that it's our identity as a community, and that also the Ministry of Gender in itself is that it's also preserving those cultural identities, because we don't necessarily have to say that everything that we do in our cultural practices are all inhumane, because some of them are really inhumane, but it's those that are really that just define a tribe, that define a culture, tradition. So my question is, how are we safeguarding those practices from what you have listed? And we also appreciate if you could also get those items to take it to our villages as well. Thank you very much. And I hope it's also diversified in terms of language, so that nobody is left out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Kalola.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. I have 5 minutes. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate and thank the Prime Minister. I hope this time I will eat crocodile meat. At my village, game meat is missing in our societies, but so far you are doing good. Thank you so much. But my focus is not on you. I would like to touch on education. Yeah, Madam Stenkum, you are really doing good. you're on the right track. I understand that most junior teachers are quite well equipped now when it comes to polyphonics and any other trainings. But we somehow, even though we are doing good, we still need to do more and a lot, more especially at our rural areas. We are talking of standardized examinations or assessments of grade 3. But first, before we reach assessments, we should consider the foundation. The foundation is key and it's very important. If we damage these kids at the lower grades, they will hardly catch up when they grow up. So what I'm talking about is that we have a medium of instructions from grade 1 to grade 3, if I'm not mistaken, is vernacular. Yes. And the transition is only done in grade 4. So somehow there, we are making a mistake because, sorry, we have English as a medium of instructions and it's a global language. Actually, it's a lingua franca worldwide. But if we just take it, if we don't take it serious, then we are really damaging our kids here. Because I understand that we have what we call UG, Universal Grammar. And that UG expires when somebody is aging. So now if you take those kids to school but they are just learning their vernaculars, more especially at the foundation level, by the time they are going to reach grade 4, the UG is expiring. And they are required to use English as a medium of instructions from grade 4. So what I'm employing on you is that we should make grade 3 as a transition grade.
That's the teacher's grade.
Right? Because now currently what we are doing is that when you give this test, is a vernacular, whether or yeah, you can pronounce it better. Yeah. Okay, English and mathematics. But still, mathematics is being done in the mother tongue of the kids. Of which, the reason why you are getting this lower percentage of pass rate numeracy is because the kids have started quite late when it comes to English. The reason why we have Anglophobia all over the country is because people are scared of English. Because we started learning English at upper grades. And mind you, all the subjects that they are going to be given, apart from your vernacular, they will be given, they will be offered in English. So we need to respect the foundation. I know the people that suffers mostly is the kids from the low income earners, parents. Because as for MPs, they take their kids to private schools because they don't have trust in public schools. They want, I said
yes,
some.
It's true.
I said some.
It's
I
true.
said some. I said some. I said some. So some. Okay, you can prove it. If you have a kid, you can prove it tomorrow or some other days. So what I'm saying is that let us try to respect the foundation. What I'm saying is that our teachers are well equipped, most of them. They are well equipped. And the last part that we should touch on is learner ratio. You can be well equipped, but when you have 50 learners in grade 3, of which you are required to teach a learner one by one, it will not make sense at all. By the time that you are going to reach 40 minutes as a period, you only touched 10 learners, all the subject. So let us try by all means and touch on learner ratio by all means. Thank you so much, Speaker.
I now recognize Honorable Amtenya.
I will stick to the time. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the first one is just to say, Honorable Prime Minister, we have done well in addressing Oshikukuta, the drought relief. While we have addressed hunger in our society, we have as well economically empowered our local entrepreneurs, especially in the agriculture and food manufacturing. Possibly just for us to see how best we can come up with a strategy that ensures compliance to local content policy, so that those that are given opportunities to supply this food, it must be as products of our agricultural industry, that is locally produced. That is the one. The other one, I think we should possibly also look at how best we can introduce a food production program with the traditional authorities, so that, you know, back in the history, food has been produced locally. Every household gives a certain portion to a headman or chief that would then either assist when such conditions or situations occurs. So if you can then have agricultural projects in government empowering the traditional authorities to come up with EPSA, Mahangu field or maize field or beans, so that we produce what the community actually consume in all traditional authority. I think we have also seen how the Ondonga Traditional Authority has recently cultivated potatoes. It's a good initiative that I think we can multiply all over. Now, that is obviously to address sustainability, so that in whatever we are doing, these millions can also be sustainable in terms of us multiplying more other projects. The other one, Honorable Speaker.
Kalola, you were also not okay now, but we said.
But time is not on our side.
Half a minute, Honorable Member.
Kalola, you just.
No. Half a minute.
You just had some. You also had some glitches now, but you didn't say anything.
Hey, what? Thank you.
No, but you also needed help.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
My brother.
It is noted now.
You may continue.
Noted.
We are here on serious issues.
You're wasting our time.
Yeah. We are here on serious issues. No. He needs to be very serious. We are here on serious issues. We are talking about bread and butter issues here. We are not here to talk about how to mention a word.
Pronunciation.
Yeah. Now, Honorable Speaker, the next one is on the issue of education. I really got touched to hear that 7 out of 10 children cannot read. It's a very serious educational crisis.
Fire the principal.
That I think in the future, many of our children are obviously going to struggle to either pass grade 11 or grade 12 because of this. That will obviously result into a serious economic and social challenges of unemployment and poverty, because obviously the foundation is affected. But I think, Honorable Minister, if we go back to those statistics, and you realize that most of the children that cannot read are either products of our government schools. Yeah, private schools, when you go to a private school, a child at that age is able to read. Most of the private schools. Most of the private schools. Yes, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
Yes.
I'm coming from the community.
Not Okakarara private school.
I'm coming from the community. So, Honorable Minister, I think at a certain point, I'm thinking that we need to also reform our educational foundation. We need to reform it, because my understanding as we speak is that a child starts pre-primary in our government schools turning 6 years, right? Turning 6 years, the child is starting with pre-primary. Then when the child is turning 7, gets in grade 1. In actual sense, that's automatic, getting to grade 1.
And in pre-primary, I think the educational framework or the kind of a syllabus or the manual that directs, I think it does not enforce much on teaching a child how to read, but obviously on phonics. Talking about pre-primary, okay? Now, but that is quite different on private schools. This is being practical. We are being practical here. And Honorable Minister, also the other aspect, what I've picked up is that, remember, most of our kids, those that...
Remember, I'll give you 2 minutes because of the interruption.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. In many cases, parents who can afford the education or the private education of their children, most of them have actually started from daycare. They take their kids for daycare, and at the daycare they are already taught the basics, even through smart televisions, the Moonbank and the Cocomelons. And these children can already start reading and writing, reading at that age of 5, 6. The child can actually tell you A to Z and can even mention 1 to 100 and can actually identify this is A, this is B, this is C. So, and then obviously even in colors. So what I'm trying to say, Honorable Minister, is that the aspect of us also not enforcing kindergarten as a must in our government school is a challenge, because this child only start getting into school at the age of 6, which by then, from 4 there, 5, the child is just with the granny at home, or otherwise exposed to the nanny who is just feeding the child and allowing the child to sleep. The child is not exposed to the basics the same way, at the daycare, so as to what happens at the daycare. So what I'm trying to say, Honorable Minister, is that we need to see how best we can reform the educational foundation, either to enforce kindergarten in our systems, and if it's Ministry of Gender, possibly, then it should be compulsory in all schools, so that we can give the foundation at an early age. For me, at the age of 6, is a bit late compared to what we are picking up with the children that we see. A child starts reading at the age of 4, 5. The child can start already reading based on the exposure. So, So that is my advice, Honorable Minister. Let us reform the educational foundation system of our government schools. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Honorable Haikola. Yes, Honorable.
I'm writing on rules.
Yes, please. Rule what?
My time,
Honorable Haikola, please.
My time, Speaker.
Yes. Rule?
Rule 1.
Yeah. What? Yes.
The Speaker may, in his or her discretion. No, we are not here for those things. We are here to work and not to correct each other. Discretion allows short questions to be put to the Minister, making the statement for the purpose of elucidating it. It looks as if we are debating the ministerial statement and not asking short questions, Honourable Speaker. So
Very
where
good.
are we moving to?
Thank you. The honourable members are reminded. Honourable Haikola, please. No, please, let's not spend time on that one. We are out of time. Let the honourable member proceed. Please, honourable members.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Okay, since the Honorable Member is reminding us that we should ask questions, I didn't want to ask questions. I wanted to recommend, as education is very, 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 very close to my heart, being a teacher for 9 to 10 years. So this campaign... Yeah, so this campaign is very important, and I want to commend the ministry for doing such a very amazing work, because in my 9 years of teaching high school, I have seen a lot of learners that cannot even read and write. And I've seen them passing through from grade 8, grade 9, until grade 12 without knowing how to read and write. So this is a big concern. And so, Minister, I want to tell you that 2022...
Honorable members, can we please just allow the member to quickly...
Yeah, Paula, can you please stop disturbing me?
Yes.
I need to concentrate, please. I need this. We need to build Namibia, please. It's very important we do that. Yeah, so 2022, I did a study on evaluation of the implementation of the revised biology curriculum in Commerce region. This means that it's one of the biggest projects that the ministry introduced in school, the new curriculum. But there were challenges that the researcher, which is I, found. And one of the challenges is rushed training. That's one, rushed and inadequate. Number two, the elephant in the room is the lack of monitoring and evaluation. So the ministry pull out a lot of projects, a lot. If I can't even finish if I have to mention one by one. But there's always a problem of monitoring and evaluation. So the question is, what difference will this project be from the previous projects that the ministry ruled out previously? So my question was, and I still want to give my recommendations later, what monitoring and evaluation mechanism are in place to track the effectiveness of this campaign? And how often will progress reports be shared with Parliament and public? That's one. Number two is, are there plans to leverage digital technologies to support this very important project or very important campaign? And how does the ministry plan to sustain gains made through this campaign beyond its official duration? So those were my three questions, and with the time that is left, I still want to give my recommendations, Minister, that there must be no rushed and inadequate training. The people must be trained by qualified trainers. In health and safety, we call it trainer of trainees. So teachers must be provided with adequate time to deepen their understanding and develop school-based approaches to implement this project. As a teacher, when a project is introduced to me, I need to think and see how best I can rule out this initiative. Because remember, a teacher's need in Omaheke is not the same as one in Kavango East. So it's very important. And after intensive training, opportunities should be set for teachers to meet regularly at cluster level and also at regional level to discuss problems, areas that they might be experiencing during implementation. So it's very important, even after the first semester of the whole project, the teachers come together and discuss what are the challenges, how can we improve this project, because this project is very, very important. And if you need my support, I will do it. I'm available to roll it and make sure that Namibia is built and make sure that these children can read and write. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Honorable members, I have 6 people on the list, and we have less than 25 minutes now. We will rise and go for a break, yeah? Like the recess, we will go into recess. So now I'm forced to come back to 3 minutes. And then I will advise also the ministers to say that please publish those ministerial statements, let them be posted to the Telegram, and also the answers to the questions, because we will not get to the questions today. The answers to the questions, because we have not touched this. And the honorable non-executive MPs, please, when we are on recess, you are free to organize yourself in a delegation. No, honorable members. What I want to say is that the executive MPs meet in cabinet. They have a platform to engage each other. but you will struggle to get the ministers when Parliament is in recess. So I'm trying to say during that time, you can organize yourself and have meetings with the ministers at their offices. You don't have to have an information blackout until we come back. Honorable members, sorry, I am not going to agree. 2 minutes to Honorable Tuhezi, Honorable Lukato, so that we quickly take as many people as possible before it's knock-off time. Please, Honorable Tuhezi.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members,
No, it doesn't matter.
As the Shadow Minister for Gender, my question goes to my counterpart on the other side.
Yes, okay. Yes, please.
Honorable Minister, I appreciate the efforts to teach our children about their rights. However, when is the ministry intending on ensuring that the children who have lost parental care are protected, particularly children who are homeless and those who are begging on street corners? Surely those children too have rights, Honorable Minister, which the ministry should enforce. How will these children who are out of school catered for under this intervention that you have mentioned? I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kato, 2 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Member of Parliament, and the leaders of all political parties. The first question, it goes to my relative brother, the Honorable Right Prime Minister. Yeah, the drought relief is a news. When it's a news, it will affect many masses of this country, and it's not going to affect the wealthy people of this country. So now the question is that it's also going to affect the pharmacy, because the rain was limited in all these 14 regions. So what's going to happen to those that have been affected? That's for you, my good brother, Honorable Right Prime Minister. To the Agriculture Minister, I just want to say, our people, the masses, the farmers, they don't, what plan action to get for them those few products which they have harvested. There's no markets. Example, just in Zambezi, where there is a Kamunu, who should just buy maize, agri machita for maize, and the one only Namibian meal by Mahango. So, did you have markets so far now in place? Let me say, do you have those who should buy the masses products or not yet? Because these farmers, they are starving because they don't have markets. The last one, gender. Minister of Gender.
Honorable, time is up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, Honorable Prawn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will just thank all the ministers for the wonderful speeches, the ministerial statements which they provided. I only have one question to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Right Honorable Prime Minister, my question is, since this program will be suspended, the drought relief program, is there a possibility that all these beneficiaries can be migrated to the conditional basic income grant at Ministry of Gender, maybe now, Ministry of Finance? Yes, the $600 which they are getting. And because now definitely there is no budgetary provision, is there a possibility maybe during the midterm review to add them to that program? Because many of these people are depending from that drought relief food. Because if you visit the rural areas, you will really see 13, 20, up to 30 people are staying in one household, only depending from that drought relief food. So it will be helpful if they can then migrate it to the conditional basic income grant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Hishono.
Going very fast. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I'm going to be very, very fast. Honorable Prime Minister, I agree with you, my brother, like Tete said, that the boreholes are really, really there in those areas that you mentioned. It's very exciting to see them. And people are really, really getting water. But the problem is here. How does the water reach home? It's on a donkey back. I know Honorable Kalola there and Haikola will agree with me that every time you go to that place that you talked about, like Okongware, Pembe, Oshkonde, donkeys are carrying jelly cans of water on their backs to reach home. I'm just wondering why is it not permissible? I don't know what is the process for those who are able to dig their own pipelines from their boreholes to their houses. This, please, we need to address this because there are people who can afford actually to. Please, we want you to get there. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, Honorable Nekongo. The last one.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity also to thank the Prime Minister for that report. I think many other things were spoken by others, but I just wanted to highlight on the going forward. I think it's very important that we don't wait for the drought for us to prepare ourselves. And my focus is more on the game meat. We appreciated really that the game meat was distributed, but perhaps if we can find a good method of carrying our animals and maybe tin them so that we prepare for drought, because I know logistically it was challenging to distribute the fresh meat, game meat. So I just wanted to speak about that, and perhaps also for us really to start focusing on really our food bank, so that it means that a food bank is a place where we can process our food, keep them for a longer time, preparing for emergency. I just wanted to salute the SWAPO party-led government for a job well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, can we agree to allow the Right Honorable Prime Minister 5 minutes and 4 minutes, rather 4 minutes to each minister to very briefly respond to the questions? Okay, Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Comrade Speaker. Thank you very much, honorable members. But I think, honorable members, I know what is on your mind. It's recess. So between us and those who delivered the ministerial statements, we are standing in between your recess and the statements. You have given us permission to just plow through some answers, and therefore these answers may not be sufficient to each of the questions that you have asked. Be that as it may, during the break, think about us. As you come back, we will give answers. But the fact is this, Honorable Speaker. The drought relief program is administered by a legislation. And that legislation does not end with this emergency period which was there. So there is a fund, again, established under that legislation. And by extension, the line ministry with specific responsibilities, which through the OPM kind of expedite implementation, as it were, if you look at it. So when the disaster is declared, it's always timed. In this case, 1 year. Now it is done. Now, what does it mean? If, for example, in Bloves, there is an acute hunger identified, for instance, on a local basis or on a regional basis or constituency basis, whatever the case may be, it gets elevated to the councillor, obviously. Then we'll get to know about that. So we will still then continue the process. So this does not end. In other words, hunger does not end per se, as somebody has rightly indicated. So the same for the livestock, the same goes for water provision, etc. So to put comfort, or at least everybody at peace, including Bishop, my brother Lukato, the government will continue to be there every hour, every day, every week, every month, 365 days in a year, to ensure that nobody dies of hunger, nobody dies of malnutrition, because every life matters. And that is for all 14 regions, 121 constituencies. So as you go, please go, make sure that you drive slowly and drink only mtete, don't do other things, and come back in one piece. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you,
Honorable.
Right Honorable Prime Minister. Now I give the floor to Honorable Steenkamp.
Speaker and esteemed. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, esteemed honorable members, for your insight and wisdom, your advice, your guidance. It's well received. I just want to state, in terms of early childhood development, with the Ministry of Gender, we've already carried out a functional analysis, an assessment, and that gives us the roadmap as to how to move forward to take over early childhood education within the ministry and take care of the children ages 4, as it has been mentioned, in terms of quality training materials, quality assurance, the training of the caregivers, etc. In terms of the monitoring and evaluation that the honourable members spoke about, it's just because of the time that I did not go to certain things. But in terms of we have a Jolly Monitor app and a Jolly Monitor dashboard. And these two are playing crucial roles in providing the real-time data, but also to track our progress at national, regional, and school level. So we will be able to see where exactly the support is needed. We're not operating a perfect system, but we are investing to see that the head of departments are trained, the senior education officers are trained, and that they must improve the monitoring role. In terms of me providing feedback to Parliament, I hope you will not get tired. I will come often at times with ministerial statements. It's a big portfolio. It will run across all the 6 sectors. And of course, in terms of the progress reports, basically the same. I'll come back every 3 months, but as issues arise and become topical, the ministry will also come and speak about that. So I just want to state that, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, and I think we can all have a parliamentary shout out to our teachers, very bravely returning to schools again today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister of Gender. We agreed to allow them to say something in response.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, Honourable members. I would like, as I take the floor, to thank the Honourable members that supported and pledged to be the ambassadors of these child-friendly materials by distributing it. Honourable Speaker, I just want to answer the question from Honourable Diplomat Hengari on the child marriages. The Child Care and Protection Act, the Section 2026, subsection 2 is very clear in terms of the age that is permissible, and also in terms of the Marriage Act, that's also clear in terms of the age that is required, and the minister responsible for Home Affairs is required to give consent in order for marriages in line with that act. And also for persons below the age of 21 years, also requires the consent of his or her parents or guardians in terms of Section 10 of this Act. So it's very clear in terms of the section. But all in all, thank you very much for the support. And again, from Honorable Kambala, the materials are translated currently in 4 languages. It's translated in Afrikaans. We've started with Oshikwanyama, Silozi, Rukwangali, and Romano, with the aim to again translate it further to other indigenous languages. Yes, as I mentioned in my statement, we are training the front workers. Front workers include life skill teachers, our social workers, traditional leaders, and all community leaders in our society. This is with the aim of us to ensure that whether the children are in schools or the ones who are out of school are reached and are not excluded, to ensure that their rights are known, they know how to protect and to be cared for. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Very good, thank you. Honorable Aspara Musiali. One more person.
Thank you very much, Speaker. There was only a comment on what I've said briefly. Honorable Hengari, it was actually my intention to approach you after the sitting to commend you on your linguistic skills. Because when the Prime Minister was speaking, you were the only one who went, Arikana. So, on a more serious note, when I referred to the respect that we accorded the Right Honorable Prime Minister, that's actually what I was talking about. He was talking in Hindi, but we were polite. In India, English and Hindi are official languages. And he is obliged by law to speak in both languages. So what we have done, we have approached the Indian High Commission, and we were assured that whatever he said in Hindi is also in English in the same statement. We have the statement ready, and I can make it available.
Very good, very good. Now, on what point are you rising, Honorable Carola?
Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker.
Yes, please.
Speaker, with due respect, using your, I don't know what's that word? Discretion. Please urge our ministers to stay in their offices during the recess. Because we are coming to them, we will come to them, they should not go and...
No, they will
ghost us, please.
They will be in the offices. They will be in the offices. PM will make sure of that. Yes. Now, honorable members, in terms of Rule 12 sub 3 of the Standing Rules and Order, the House will adjourn today until the 2nd of September 2025, and I would like to ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister to propose adjournment of the House until the 2nd of September.
Adjourn the House.
Yes.
But indulge me 1 second.
Okay.
We would like, I think I speak for all of us from both aisles, to convey our profound appreciation to you as the presiding officer in the very spirited session that we have had, and also for all members. We appreciate all of you, and the tone with which this session has ended is very unifying. So all the prayers that you have presided over, it seems the prayers have reached fertile ground. So Honorable Speaker, thank you very much on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
And therefore, the House is adjourned. I so move until the 2nd
of September, 14 hours and 30.
Until the 2nd of September, 14:30.
Yes, yes.
14:30.
Yes.
Please travel safe and come back safe.
Very good. So the House adjourns.